If you don't want to race around in an Audi estate, but you like your German motors, Alex Riley has a buying guide to another that might float your boat. It's very quick, but ridiculously affordable.
Most people dream of owning a Porsche, the Stuttgart super brand, one of the world's most respected and desirable car makers. But it needn't be a dream, because there are Porsches out there that have all the performance and image, but not the sky-high price tag. I'm talking about this car, the Porsche 928. Now, there are other affordable Porsches like the 924 and the 944, but this is the real bargain. It's over-engineered, over-specced, and very, very undervalued, which sounds like the perfect combination to me. You see, in the late 70s, the Porsche 928 was designed to replace the 911. They wanted a front-engined car with better comfort and handling, and 4 seats. They engineered it superbly. There's loads of weight-saving aluminium used in the body, but all this engineering came at a price. The 928 was the equivalent of £100,000. It was too expensive, and 911 fans hated it. So now, a late model 928 S4 with low miles and all the toys can be yours for just 15 grand, which is a bargain. Or if you're willing to take a punt on an early S1 or S2, you can get that down to under 3, which is stupidly cheap for a car this good. Driving the 928 requires a lot of effort. The steering is very heavy, the gear change needs a hefty shove to get it into gear, and when you're pushing the accelerator, you've really got to push down hard to access that power. It's not a car for girls. In Germany, where there are no speed limits, this car is in its absolute element. You could sit all day at 130. At 70, it's barely turning over. It's very calm, very relaxed. I could drive this car from here to France. Easy. The driving position is fantastic. The seats are really comfortable and they pivot into the right position really easily. Everything falls very neatly to hand, and the dash is clear, a bit mad looking. It's got these big sort of plastic buttons designed for those big fat American fingers where the car was very, very successful. And what I really like is the way that when you adjust the steering column, the instruments move in unison with it. So no matter where you have the wheel, you can see the instruments perfectly. It feels so well made. Everything is screwed together properly. There's no squeaks, no rattles, and this car's a 1988 car and it feels as good as new. And apparently if you do try and dismantle a 928, it's really hard to get all the bits and pieces off because everything is screwed together so very, very tightly. Now, Porsche spent about 30 years trying to get the 911 to handle properly. With the 928, they started with a clean sheet of paper. They put the engine at the front and they put the gearbox at the rear so that the balance was spot on. They then developed a different sort of rear suspension system, the so-called Weissach-Axle, which allowed a little bit of rear wheel steering so that when you got into a corner and it was about to oversteer, the back wheels steered in the same direction as the fronts and got you around the corner safely and securely. The 928 is one of the best handling cars of its generation. Nice. Well, I've clocked up a few miles behind the wheel now and I'm loving the sheer brutishness of the car. So I think I've done the driving. Let's look at the practicalities. Boot, not huge, but okay for a suitcase or a couple of bags. Back seats, don't do this at home, kids, a bit small. Front seats, electric. Luxuries, cruise control, aircon, all present and correct. The doommongers among you might be thinking, oh, he's got a cheap Porsche, but it'll cost a fortune to fix if it goes wrong. And I'll hold my hands up. If the gearbox goes on one of these, you might as well cash in your chips. It's going to break you. But seriously, it's like any car. Buy a nice one that's been looked after and it'll be a good, reliable pal. Buy a stinker and your life will never be the same again. In a bad way. But look, you don't get out for note. There's no such thing as a free lunch, and if you want to dine at Motoring's top table, you're going to have to pay the price. But this is a brilliant value Porsche. And if you want a classic that's practical, usable, great fun and beautifully engineered from a blue chip maker, then this is the one for you.